Is the mass exodus from California finally over? That's what California Democrat politicians are claiming. Coming up, I'll tell you why they are dead wrong and the problems are only getting worse. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and I'll tell you, back in 2015, 2016, on my radio show, I started talking about the mass exodus of people from California. Now, up to that point, I had heard from my friends in like 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, who were not happy about California's political direction and a lot of the problems that were happening, homelessness, crime, bad schools, high taxes. They left the state of California, but it was always anecdotal evidence up to that point. In 2015 and 2016, I started talking about the fact that California was losing population because we were looking at all sorts of indicators that was happening. Census data, U-Haul pricing, more expensive to get a U-Haul to leave California, and people would literally be paid by U-Haul to drive a car or truck back here to the state. And Democrats at the time were denying it. They were saying, oh, you're lying. Everyone's coming to California. This is paradise. It's nirvana. Well, then the 2020 census came and smacked everyone in the face with the brutal reality as the census showed that we had lost population, and California, for the first time since it entered the union, lost a congressional seat. Probably the best indicator that, yeah, your state is not growing, it's contracting. The losses have been significant. We're talking 1.4 million Republican and conservative voters who've left the state in the last 5 years. And the Democrats finally had to acknowledge that there was a massive population decline. But now, just in the past 2 weeks, there's a new narrative that we're hearing from the liberal media and Democrat politicians. And that is, oh, well, it was just an anomaly. California population is growing again. Everything's perfectly normal. See, people want to come here. Take a look at this headline in the Los Angeles Times. I'm not going to click on it because I don't want to give them any subscribers. Column. This is George Skelton's column, and he's a big old liberal. California population is on the rise. So much for the claims of the state's demise. That is like someone on the Titanic saying, oh, look, I just bailed out a bucket of water. We're going to stay afloat. Told you. Everyone back to your staterooms. Don't get in those lifeboats. George Skelton is a village idiot, okay? And he's a liar. Let me go through the actual information. And for that, let's go to Fox 5 in Los Angeles. Not Fox 5, KTLA 5 in Los Angeles, reporting on George Skelton's column. They have the same headline that's misleading. I'll tell you why in a moment. After declining for years, California population is growing again. Yay! Not so fast. It starts out with the narrative that the Democrats want you to hear. Tens of thousands of people may still be fleeing California. I love how they put quotations around fleeing, as though, oh, it's not real that they're fleeing. No, they're reluctantly leaving. Are you joking? These people are fleeing high crime, homelessness, high cost of living, failing schools, liberal woke policies. I mean, they are definitely fleeing. No quotation marks about it. They go on to say the population is finally growing again. Now, they say this as a fact, but this fact is absolutely not established. More on that in a moment. Oh, here it is. According to Los Angeles Times columnist George Skelton. According to George Skelton, you mean according to the opinion boy? California population has climbed above 39 million for the first time since the summer of 2022, citing preliminary data provided by the state of California. Bitch, please. You think I'm going to believe those asshats? Absolutely not. Not happening. The state of California has been miserably wrong on all sorts of data. A year ago, they said that we had 100,000 new jobs created during the month of July. When the actual numbers were trued up 4 months later, it showed that we had lost 30,000 jobs. So I do not trust a single bit of data put out by state bureaucrats because they're pretty damn inept when it comes to these things. I would more be inclined to trust the Census Bureau, and that we're not seeing any sort of good news on population shifts. Here it said, here it goes to say, the census estimated state's population at 38,965,000. So when Skelton says, oh, we're above 39 million, that's 35,000 people net came in? You know where this is headed, right? Okay, well, just hold a minute. The state demographer, again, a bureaucrat, Walter Sharm, told Skelton in an email, these forces form the prime reason for return to positive population growth. Well, what are the reasons why the state demographer thinks people are moving back or staying? But by the way, they're not moving back. Let's just be clear about that. They're not moving back. That would presume they went to another state like Texas or Florida, decided they didn't like it, and came back and said, oh, California is so much better. That's not happening. In a moment, I got the receipts. It says fewer people are allowed to work remotely. I would consider that true, but does this demographer actually have evidence to suggest that people not being able to work remotely means that people are moving to California? No, there's no evidence that people are moving to California. More on that in a minute. The death rate from COVID-19 has fallen dramatically. Was there ever a high death rate? I mean, seriously. So I don't see that as like, oh, wow, that's a big issue. Oh, here it is. We found the reason why population may be slightly sustained here. The Biden administration has reversed many Trump-era limits on legal migration. Now, yesterday I brought you a story from the BBC talking about how illegal immigration has shifted on the southern border from Texas to California because Greg Abbott and the state of Texas have been cracking down more aggressively on illegal immigration at their border. You know where this is headed, right? Yeah, that's right. You get a gold star. We are seeing the only population boost or inflow into this state isn't from people saying, oh, golly, I'm leaving my state and moving to California because it's so much better. No. We got people coming from other countries. Illegal immigration is the only inflow of people into the state of California. And it's because we have an open border. Texas is being more aggressive with their border. The flow, as BBC reported yesterday, you should check out my podcast from yesterday. BBC is reporting that it's a massive shift and that the southern sector of California, the San Diego Imperial County sectors, the Border Patrol, they are absolutely overwhelmed. I know here in San Diego, we've had more than 125,000 people released onto San Diego streets, illegal immigrants, since September 6 months ago. This is 125,000 people just in San Diego alone just released onto the streets. So the only reason why California is having any sort of population inflow isn't from other states, it's from other countries in the form of illegal immigration. So basically, Skelton is celebrating California citizens fleeing and foreigners coming in to occupy or whatever. This is not something to crow about. Let's go back to his headline. So much for the claims of the state's demise. You village idiot, George Skelton. You're celebrating foreigners coming into California to somehow populate our state. You're celebrating citizens fleeing to other states because they are so disgusted with your socialist hellhole. So embarrassing that you put up this damn opinion editorial trying to Celebrate. See, we were correct. No, you weren't correct. The only people buying your bag of crap are foreigners sneaking into this country. Now, I always go to other news outlets. I don't trust the news. I always say verify every single bit of data. But here is a story from yesterday in Las Vegas. I thought it was quite interesting. And they're talking about not as many Californians moving to Nevada. Well, that's not a surprise that people aren't wanting to move to Nevada. Nevada has gone very blue in recent elections. But wait in a minute. You're going to see some data here. And it actually disproves their point. Here we go. This is from Fox 5, Las Vegas.
For more cars on the road, some more homes being built. The valley's population has boomed since the pandemic, but what goes up apparently still comes down. UNLV researchers have tracked a new trend: fewer Californians moving here. Jacqueline Schultz has the story you'll see only on Fox 5.
People started bailing out of California left and right. We saw a huge boom during the lockdown for about 2 years. We saw a big drop recently.
From more cars on the road to new neighbors moving in, locals see the surge in Californians. Moving company Muscle Movers has lived it. Starting in 2020, phones were ringing off the hook for California residents that needed a moving truck stat to relocate to Las Vegas or elsewhere in Nevada. They have noticed a trend in real time that UNLV researchers are tracking. The number of Californians moving here keeps dropping.
This last winter, it was worse than the crash of 06, 07. It's gotten a lot better now recently.
UNLV School of Business researchers track the numbers through people surrendering licenses from the DMV. Most transplants come from California. The number of Californians moving across Nevada.
All right, so look at this graph. This is where the media hypes a headline that the data doesn't quite support in full. If you take a look at 2020, 27,258 Californians surrendered a driver's license in Nevada. That popped up to 46,440 in 2021. What was happening between 2020 and 2021? That's right. California did a bunch of lockdowns. So there was going to be a surge. There was a, hey, now's the time to get the hell out of Dodge. But take a look at the numbers. While it has come down slightly, it is still higher by a factor of 30%, 25%, higher than 2020 during the year of 2023. This is not something to say, oh, look at this, things are coming down. Since 2020, after a spike, which was completely predictable, there are still a significant number of Californians higher than 2020 baseline numbers. Now, I would also suggest that a lot of people are probably not wanting to go to Nevada or Arizona because they see that as purple territory now or blue territory, and that they want to go to more prosperous states like Texas and Florida, prosperous and freedom-oriented states. And that's exactly what this moving company guy seems to suggest.
Nevada soared from 2020 to 2022, but for the past 2 years, it's dropped. Most Californians choose to relocate to Las Vegas or Clark County, and local data shows the same decline. The biggest reason, according to Professor Stephen Miller, mortgage rates. A home in Vegas is just not as affordable.
A lot of people have low mortgage interest rate loans, so that their monthly payment is pretty low. They couldn't match that in the current market.
Miller notes, though housing is far more affordable in Las Vegas than LA, many people simply want to wait for rates to go down. Another factor, a corporate pivot to end many work-from-home opportunities.
So interest rates may be keeping people stuck in California a little while longer. Again, that's another factor that Skelton is not citing. He says, oh, our state's getting better. No, you have illegal immigration, and the people wanting to get the hell out of Dodge are simply saying, well, why don't we stick it out for another year or two? Because if we sell our home right now, we have a low interest rate because we bought it maybe in 2014 or 2007. But if we go and move today in this interest rate environment, we're still going to be locked into a higher interest rate mortgage. Let's hold off on it. Again, my real estate friends say date the rate, but marry the house. But a lot of people still think about that interest rate in terms of calculation of what they could afford in another state, not particularly factoring in, well, that's what I can afford under today's interest rates, but assuming interest rates fall, this is what I would be able to afford in the future. They are probably worried that interest rates won't go down in the very near future. So they're kind of stuck in California because of the interest rate environment. Not that they think California is better, that crime has improved or homelessness has improved, or the schools are better, or the cost of living overall is better. No. They're kind of stuck. They didn't make their exit quick enough, even though we still see a pretty big amount of outflows from California.
Limits options where people can move. He also says people are exploring other options, and many Californians and Nevadans are looking past Las Vegas to Texas instead.
Oh, there we go. Texas and Florida. That's right. What was I saying? They're not looking at Las Vegas. They're not looking at Nevada because they're like, yeah, it's kind of a blue state. It's trending into the ditch that California is in right now. Let me go to a little bit more safer ground.
The people that we move out of California are moving to Texas, Tennessee, Florida, Carolinas, and Georgia.
There you go. The moving company confirms that which your gut tells you. Look, George Skelton's column, so much for the claims of the state's demise. Now, your state, George Skelton, is still a liberal hellhole. And that's why at Reform California, we're staying and fighting because we believe we can actually take the state back. I know that may seem like fantasy, but we just released a 7-point strategic plan that shows you how we can win in California and why you shouldn't flee the state. Check it out at reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org. We have a lot that we're seeing is shifting. Voters are furious. They're fed up with the bad policies in California, which opens the door to an opportunity for us to save Prop 13, flip target seats, retain the House majority. A lot is on the line in November's 2024 election. And at Reform California, we are leading the fight to win. Check out that strategic plan. Check out some of our other stories. If you haven't already done so, please sign up on our list. We give you a weekly news update every Friday. Here's the sign up portal. Everything is free. Please, though, do consider chipping in a contribution. We need your help to fight the battles, to flip seats and protect Prop 13, and to restore sanity in our state. We can't do it without your help. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.